for my visit to see him. I was constantly seeking for someone to relieve my mind, but am I on there now? Yeah. I went twice to, I live near Scarborough General Hospital in September of 2001. Remember, I had a rupturing appendix inside me with gangrene forming. In December of 2001, I went into Scarborough General. Says I'm in terrible medical pain, and I said my stress is way over the limit. What can I do about this? And they had me in this little room. They kept closing the door, and I had to keep open the door. Not good in my heart. I'm sort of. They gave me a sleeping pill and sent me home. So in December, again, I'm really never felt hysteria. I never felt out of control. I never felt as if I was unsure what I was talking about. Unclear as to what's happening. Yes, it took me time to find all this. I then went into Scarborough Hospital. I phoned them and said, and I came in on the bus. I lived at Armacy in Lawrence, so I went by bus. They had me there in this small little room again, and I recognized that fellow from somewhere. I had seen that fellow. I don't know if he was with the hospital or an agent at this moment. He wouldn't talk to me. He kept leaving me in that room and kept closing the door. And then he came and he said, okay, we're going to take you in the hospital. And they took me up to the mental ward. So I spent that Friday night, 3 o'clock in the morning when they took me in the mental ward. You know, I was grateful to be there. I had people around me. But here's the funny thing. It was crowded and they gave me a private room. I was all in a private room and they gave me a sleeping pill. And I went to sleep. I didn't have any sleep. I never even thought of asking for a sleeping pill. I didn't take pills. And one night, I was there the whole weekend, no doctor, but a nurse said to me, you don't belong here. I said, I know, but I'm grateful to be here. And I had special treatment from the nurses. Matter of fact, my cheerful disposition, I was helping with the patients. They had trouble with this young girl. And I said, put her in my room. And anyhow, I really helped her. She was troublesome, drugs and everything, and I had to talk with her, and I said, if you don't behave and eat and do what they tell you, you're hurting yourself. And one of the nurses came to me and they says, what did you say to her? We've never had her like this before. And I said, she's going to turn around now. And the young girl drew a picture of a big rose for me, and she says, no one's ever listened before. I helped another man. I had a good time that weekend because I had people around me, and I was helping people, and the nurses. I was the only one who could talk to any of the nurses at the station. The rest of them were told to get away. Special treatment. I never saw a doctor until Monday morning, and a black man came, and he said, you can leave now. I said, I'm in this hospital, and I want my medical. He says, looked into. He says, you're leaving right now. I then saw a report saying that I was in the hospital for psychiatric reasons, and that Dr. So-and-so, not that one, had examined me thoroughly, and I'm delusional, and think all doctors are against me. That all of that is untrue. I didn't see anybody except that black man. I did have his name. I had all this information. So I was sent home again. I then went somewhere along the line to Toronto East General Hospital. I had a stroke at Toronto East General Hospital. I was taken there, and it was in September 2003. I actually had been telling 2 doctors, something's wrong with my right hand, something wrong with my mouth. I think I'm going to have a stroke. I saw a Dr. Levandy at the Overlea Clinic 3 times. I'd gone in telling her something's wrong with me. And I saw her the night before I had the stroke, which was Thursday. I said, something's wrong with me. I woke up the Thursday morning and I couldn't find the remote. My mind wasn't working, my hand wasn't working, and I saw the remote on the edge of the chair where it belonged. There it is. 2 minutes later, where's the remote? Couldn't figure out where the remote was. I now knew something was wrong. My hand's not working. I went to dial the phone, I couldn't. My hand's just stiff. Also, I couldn't speak. I went out in the hall to get a taxi. I don't know, I remember anything else. I was in a taxi. I arrived at Toronto General, and a Dr. Tran, who before he refused me aid, said he was not going to let me into the hospital. I couldn't standing there, and the cab driver left without being paid. couldn't speak. I couldn't use my hand. He was saying he's not going to let me into the hospital. Dr. Brown. I don't remember anything, and it was an emergency. With a woman saying, "Oh, you're so," she said, "you're so cheerful." She says, to be able to laugh because you can't talk. I didn't even know I'd been talking. Well, I survived this stroke, but not the time in the hospital. Dr. Friedman gave me a pill. His first words to me, so I understand. He's a psychiatrist. He said, "I understand you complained about some of my colleagues." He gave me a pill, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, I woke, was completely paralyzed. Couldn't move. I couldn't talk. Nothing. My chest was jumping. My heart was jumping out of my chest in terrible pain. The nurse was in the room. I couldn't talk to her. I kept the wrapper up that down, and I went to a Dr. Chisholm when I got out. They wouldn't let me out for 2 weeks, and my record's full of all that. In that pill I've been taking, and other pills, which I did not. I refused to take any pill, and I had a note from that Dr. Friedman saying she was refusing to take all pills. And yet my record's full of all these pills. All the nurses sweating each night in bed. I'd be sitting up, and I was the only one that had the privilege to go anytime I want into the shower room opposite the nurse's station. Daisy, the nurse, was horrible to me. And I could sit in there and I was shivering and freezing. I couldn't get warm, and I had the privilege to go in there anytime I want, with nurses all concerned, not mentioning any reports. I came out and I went to see a Dr. Chisholm at Johnny General, and I took the wrapper up that pill. His words to me were, "I would question why it was given to you in such a strong strength." That's what he said. I then saw Dr. Chisholm just recently on December the 10th at 12 o'clock noon. The police had broke the lock on my hotel door December the 8th at 1:30 in the morning. They told me I had no choice to broke the lock. They came in. I said I was going with them. Wouldn't tell me why. Locked up at County's General. Mental ward. I was kept drugged all the time. I couldn't stay awake. On the 9th, I woke out of my bed. Terrible chest pains. I was fat. I can't lay flat. Chest pains. I'd be able to breathe. I was in a completely dark room. A nurse came in, a male nurse called AYEL. How did he know I was having chest pains? He opened the door and said, "You're not having chest pains," and closed the door. I phoned to help. I described my chest pains, and they told me 3 times, "Do not hang up. Do not hang up. You're having major lung and heart. Do not hang up." And then I collapsed in the chair. This nurse came in and punched something into my arm. 7 o'clock this morning, I woke up. I had breakfast, and I don't remember anything else. I was unconscious in bed. Around noon, Dr. Chisholm was there, and I immediately recognized him. Remembered that this was now 6 years later. I told him, "I met you in October 2003. Do you remember why I went in to see you?" He seemed very upset. He says, "Yes, you said that you were not receiving medical care." I said, "Do you remember that wrapper I showed you?" He said, "Yes, I do." He said, "You can go now. You don't have any mental issues." I don't even know I was there. And then I found out it was a walk-in doctor that had been in there. He refused to repeat my pills, and he put a Form 1 to have me taken there. Other doctors, I was also at Scarborough General. I was having a terrible night.